Hi, in this stage we are gonna talk about a very basic concept when programming called loop. A loop is a programming construct that's not only specific to Ruby. A loop is a series of statements that execute a certain number of times, usually based on sort of condition. In the condition, you specify where you want the loop to end. In this video, we're gonna talk about the loop while, that's the more basic loop, and other ones that we're gonna learn to go. Okay, first of all, let's create a new folder called loops. Now, inside of the folder, let's create a new file. It's gonna call. Okay, now we named the file loops-1.rb, and here we're gonna create our first loop. The first loop we're gonna work with is gonna be the while loop. So in order to create this loop, let's begin making an iterator variable called I. So while I less equal than 10, so we're going to make a put of I is okay. Put the value of I is I. Okay. And let's make I to each iteration add 1. Okay, this is a basic loop that is common in any programming language. In other programming languages, you will find something similar to this. So let's execute this using the Ruby interpreter. So we go to loops loops1 and execute it. Okay, so it starts at 0, and each iteration it adds 1 to the I. So I is gonna increment its value each iteration until reach 10, and once it reaches 10, it get outside of the loop. Now, what happens if we do not make this? We delete the iterator, so it's not going to add one each iteration, so it's going to be an infinite loop. That's in the concept that you may hear. So you can see here how this never ends. So if you want to get outside of the loop, here in the console press Ctrl C. Well, if you are in a normal terminal like this one, you can press Ctrl C, but here in this workspace just click this X button here, yes, and then you make this in terminal in case you make an infinite loop, just in case you're working here in the workspace. I suppose you are. Well, now we can create something like, let's create a string, and here inside we are going to make string equals to all world, and let's get the value of I at this time. Okay, and then don't forget to increment the I, otherwise you will get still an infinite loop. Okay, great. So now here outside the loop, let's get the final value of I. So first let's make this put, so let's say final value of I is I, and also let's print the final value of string. Okay, let's run this to see what happens. Ruby loops, Okay, so here, as you can see, the value. This is the last time this put statement was executed, and it says the value of I is 10, but the final value is 11. So it means that the while loop just when it was 10 executed these, then go incremented to 11. Now how it is greater than 10, it gets outside of the loop and says that the final value is 11. However, for the string, the final value is 10 because when it was 10, it just enter here and assign the value to the string, just increment it to 11, and anything else happened. So that's why it was 10, the final value of string hello world 10. How you can see, the string was reassigned inside of the loop. Now the next kind of loop we're going to look at is the until loop. Let's create a file here, loops2.rb. Okay, great. Let's reproduce the same example we did here. Just print the numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, so I equals to 0, and instead of use the while keyword, we will use the until keyword. Until I greater than 10 and puts the value of I is I. Great, so it's gonna print the same result as we was doing with the while loop. So let's run it again and see what happens. Oops. Okay, so I forgot to increment the I. As you can see, I produced an infinite loop. Okay, so loops 2, great. And let's see what's the final value of I. And it shall be 11. Okay, it's 11. As you can see, it's the same result. Now, let's delete these and make something more interesting with the until loop. So let's create a variable called name. So here, this variable until name equals to Sebastian. Great. And we are gonna ask to the user, enter name here. Enter a name. So name is gonna be equals to get champ. So it's not gonna outside of this loop until I enter the name Sebastian. Let's see how this will work. Enter name, okay. Francisco, and it will keep asking me a name until I enter Sebastian. Erica. Well, okay, I can enter anything I need here, I want, and it's gonna ask me a name every time. So until I enter Sebastian, and it's oh great. So it gets outside of the until loop. Once I receive the name Sebastian, I can add any condition I want here. This is how you use the until loop. Our next lesson is gonna be about the for loop. That's also very used in all the programming languages. We're gonna learn how to use it in this programming language called Ruby, and also, if we have time, we are gonna talk about control flow in loops. As always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter as Bastian Melandia, follow us as Risk Karate 2, Thanks. Follow us on Facebook too. Always keep an eye on riskkarate.com where you will find the transcript of this video. And of course, thanks for subscribing to our channel. We are reaching a lot of subscribers and we want to keep growing up. Thanks for watching and see you next lesson.